got saved years ago and I've been going to church for a long time and I've been doing this, let me tell you what, if you're in a rut and you're just kind of spinning your wheels, you're in need of a major adjustment. You are in need of a major change in the direction of your relationship with Jesus Christ. You are in need of some type of turn, a different direction, somehow doing something different than what you are doing. Well, wait a minute, preacher, I've always gone here, I've always done that. What condition are you in at the present time? I have found myself when I have been in a rut, I have been stuck, and I seemed like I wasn't going in any way, it just seemed to be in neutral. Let me tell you what, you can't put your Christianity in neutral. It's not like just, I think I'll put it in neutral for a while or park, kind of like the car, but when you do that, you begin to roll backwards, and that's not good. But there was need of major adjustment here in Paul's life, and God stopped him one day in the middle of the road. Paul's to before was a flash of light and blindness that came to him. I don't know about you, but if I got struck down and opened my eyes and couldn't see anything, I tell you what, there would be some type of attention would come real quick, panic would set in, and I'd realize something's happened. What is it? A voice speaking to me in the middle of the highway and me blind, that would get my attention real quick. And he began to speak to him, none other than Jesus, who spoke to him. And it said the men that were with him couldn't see anything, but they could hear some talking going on. They realized that Saul was speaking to someone. The need for major adjustments in your life. We're all encounter that. Doing what God would have us to do. I can't say that I've had a Damascus Road experience, but I've had experience in my life where God made adjustments, major adjustments in my spiritual life. Just looking around at the walls here today, I realized that God made a major adjustment in my life. Looking at the people sitting here today, God made a major adjustment in my life. Looking at you, I realized God made a major adjustment in your lives. Did He stop you as a Damascus Road experience? Not necessarily, but there were adjustments that were made in the direction that you were doing. I sometimes see folks and they'll say, well, listen, Pastor, I've been a member of certain Baptist church for 58 years and they never going to leave, I don't reckon. And then you begin to kind of seek out some things, and there's nothing wrong with being a member of a church, don't get me wrong, for a long period of time. But normally when you encounter that, you'll find somebody that seems to be stuck in one position and they've been there for quite a while. And they're in need of some type of adjustment. Paul here, he needed a serious major adjustment. God got his attention and woke him up because God realized with the zeal that this man had, the desire that he had to do the things, that his mission, if you will, that God could use him in a mighty way. And he realized that, hey, I get this guy's attention and get him focused in the right direction. It's unbelievable what the Apostle Paul could do. It's unbelievable what he could reach, the people he could touch, the message he could preach. Many of you sitting here today have that potential. Well, I'm not a preacher. You got a voice, don't you? Can you tell somebody about Jesus? Yes, you can. Can you tell the good news? Can you tell the story? Amen, we all can. The Apostle Paul, who was struck down, what are some of the adjustments we're going to have to make? What ways do we need to change? Now, not just kind of tweaking. And some folks say, well, you know, I just kind of need a little bit of tweaking here, preacher, just a little bit, you know. You know, if I just a little dabble right here and it'll kind of get me. You begin to evaluate yourself and think, do I need just a little tweaking or do I need a good overhaul? You know, I think I went through an overhaul about a year ago. The Lord led me in a different direction. The Lord led me a lot of places. I preached, I sang, I traveled around. And the Lord spoke to me for several months. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what direction I was going to go. I had really no idea. Had a lot of opportunities thrown my way. Had people say, "Won't you come pastor this church? Won't you come lead the singing here? Won't you come do this?" Had people come to the house and "We would love to have you come and be our minister of music. We'd love to come. You could teach Sunday school. You could preach every now and then." And I thought about it and I prayed and the Lord said, "No, that ain't it." I know that there were some major changes coming my way. I just didn't know what direction to go. God didn't strike me down. He didn't make me blind for several days, but He did set me down for a while to talk to me. He said, "Just kind of listen for a while, buddy." And I went and I sang and I preached and I listened to a lot of good preachers, went to a lot of good churches. And one day I drove by this place out here, down the road. And the Lord began to deal with me about the church. And I said, "Lord, that's a big undertaking. That's a big doing." He said, "Think I can't help you? Think I can't make it happen?" And I wasn't questioning God about His ability, but I was questioning mine. What little bit of I got. And I knew that there were adjustments that were coming, and He needed to lead me, and I needed to follow. And you know, the pieces begin to fall together. Begin to come together. And I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. I've told the story about me calling and checking and asking, and then I'd talk to my wife and I'd say, "What are we going to do?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, maybe we could do this." And I started checking, started thinking. The Lord said, "Well, do this, do this, do this." And I started figuring where I could get chairs, where I could get the PA system, where this and that. And it began to fall together.